Thank you. Good morning. My name is Sean Patrick Durkin. I do want to thank you for this opportunity to speak before you. I think it's imperative as a candidate that I speak to anyone who wants to hear where I stand, what my thoughts are, and where I think our village needs to be, and where I personally want to see where it goes down the road. My wife and I moved here in 2002. We have two small children. Gavin, who's 6 years of age and is a kindergartner over at St. Mary's in Downers Grove, and our daughter Avery, who is just 2.5, and she's over at the Gardner School in Darien. Been on the council for 8.5 years. I think we're heading in the right direction, and I want to continue the direction we're going. What makes me different than my competition is that I have municipal finance expertise. I work with municipalities, I work with governments on a daily basis. I work for a major Chicago institution, and I'm in their institutional banking division. And what that means for the village of Downers Grove is I get to talk to many different municipalities, county, state officials, all dealing with finances and the issues that they're dealing with potential cuts from the state. One of them just recently, possibly with the governor's budget address regarding the shared sales tax revenue. But I'm really here to hear your questions and what I could answer and help you understand where my thoughts and positions are regarding the future of our village. So I'd like to open it up for questions if possible, only because I know we're on a limited time basis, and I think the more questions, the more answers I give you, the better off we as a community will be.
Well, we do have a few. First, there's been a lot of talk during recent years regarding the consolidation of taxing bodies and the elimination of duplicative services between local governments. Please provide your thoughts on this issue and what you might do to promote your ideas if elected.
I think we as a village, we have done a very good job with some consolidation. If you recall, we consolidated the 911 dispatch centers with the village of Westmont. And that not only was a savings to the village in finances, but it was also one for the village of Westmont. I think that's an avenue we need to go down. I know that we continually look at areas for consolidation, but I want to do what's the right ones. I don't want to just act because it's the buzzword today to do consolidation. I want to do what's right for the village of Downers Grove. Because what's important at the end of the day is the service levels that we provide to our residents and the business partners that we have that make Downers Grove home. I know that we've spoken about it through our long-range financial planning and consolidations, and we also know that it's occurring at the state level. No, excuse me, not necessarily the state level, but with our county, DuPage County.
Thank you. In his first budget address, Governor Rauner suggested a new formula for the return of tax dollars to the municipalities through the local government distribution fund. It's possible this would result in a $2.4 million reduction in historic levels of funding to the village from the state. If Governor Rauner's vision becomes a reality, how would you propose to make ends meet at the village?
We actually have addressed that as a village council. We had meetings with staff, and we just talked about it 2 weeks ago at the council level with the staff report. The actual dollar that we're budgeting because of this potential loss of sales tax revenue is $1.2 million, which is half of the 2.4 that the governor has proposed through a speech. The reason we're doing $1.2 million is because July 1st normally is the date that the state budget is passed. And because we don't really know what encompasses this speech, we are preparing for the $1.2 million. How are we going to get there? One of the things that we have not necessarily decided, because it hasn't come to a vote, it's been more of a staff discussion, is that we are going to postpone filling any positions that are budgeted for. Some equipment replacements we're going to hold off on. And then we also have opportunities with sidewalk replacements, sidewalk programs that we can postpone until we actually get a better understanding better understanding of what it is that we're looking at. The last thing I want to do is dip into our reserves. We've worked very hard on many levels of our finances. As you know, we are a AAA bond rated community, which was just recently awarded to the village by Standard & Poor's, and there's many factors that came into that award that we received. And our finances sorry, I lost my train of thought, so you can tell I'm human. Our reserves, was part of that. So I hope I answered that. I kind of rambled on. There's a lot there I want to say in a short time.
In 2007 and 8, the Downers Grove Village Council passed an ethics ordinance containing, among other things, restrictions on term limits, campaign financing, and financial disclosure. How do you feel it has worked, and would you promote changes to the ordinance as it stands right now?
I think it's worked exceptionally well. If I do receive the majority of the vote and continue on as a village commissioner for Downers Grove, this will be my last term. Technically, legally, I can run for one more, but sounding majority of the town said 3 terms and you're done. And 3 terms will have already occurred. I was appointed when Commissioner McConnell left the council and went to another state for employment, and I think 3 terms is long enough. It'll be time for new ideas to be out there, and I encourage that. Is there any specific change today that I think we could do? I don't think there's any that is sounding that we need to do, but I think it's something we should and we need to continuously look at that, just like we look at every other policy that our village has, especially in light of the upcoming election and possibly, well, we know we're going to have 1 new member on the council.
Every village council faces controversial land use petitions. How would you promote to resolve the common occurrence of conflict regarding the rights of property owners and the concerns and objections of the public?
I think you do that through open dialogue. You know, I think we've done a very good job of discussing these issues, from trees on private property, trees on public right-of-way, saving historical homes. You know, I think we've done a really good job talking about it. I think everyone is in a unique situation. I don't think there's something you can do that's, you know, that you can lay the law down and say this is where we're at and be rigid. Downers Grove is not rigid like that. You know, we work to come up with solutions. We work to do what's right for the community as a whole. It may not be that popular vote at the time, but there's a lot of discussion that goes on, and I do listen. I listen to the residents. I'm humbled by the amount of contact, communications that I receive, and the passion that the residents of Downers Grove express. I mean, I think we need to do everything on a case-by-case basis, because those are hot topic issues, and I don't really want to see the hammer laid down and say, no, this is the way we're doing it, and that's it.
If successful in your campaign for public office in this election, what do you anticipate will be the most challenging aspects of the next 4 years?
Well, first and foremost, I believe the impacts of the state budget and taking of the sales tax. You know, that's a lot of money. $2.4 million out of our general fund is a lot, knowing that our general fund is basically made up of 75% of personnel costs. So that means we have to provide the same level of service with less money. And I am not here, or would I ever be promoting an increase in any kind of property tax to make up for that loss. I think what we need to do is utilize our partnerships with our chamber, our Economic Development Corporation, and continue to look for areas that we can bring in and we can retain and attract new businesses down to Downers Grove. I think we can do a lot more that way and cover that lost revenue if it so happens.
This final question, and you can roll this into any closing remarks you may want to make. What leadership experience do you bring to the office you are running for, and what makes you more qualified than the other candidates seeking the same position?
I think the qualification is the fact that I'm the only one that's the municipal financial expert. You know, as I stated earlier, you know, I work with municipalities and governing bodies all day long with my day job. You know, I do have the opportunity not only to meet with them on that level, but also as an elected official through the different cogs that we belong to, or I belong to professionally. And I think that's the separating fact. And besides that, you know, I have 8 years up here. We've done extremely well. You know, we had this opportunity to quote-unquote cleanse government in 2007 when we had the economic downturn. And I view this opportunity with the governor's budget speech as doing that again. I think we just need to continue to focus in on those core services, police, fire, and public works. That's where I stand. That's where I've always stand. My opposition will tell you that I'm a core guy. You know, they'll show you an apple core or whatever they're going to do. But at the end of the day, that's what's important to me. That's what's important to me. And I want to continue that going down the road. I want to make Downers Grove better tomorrow than it is today. Win or lose April 8th, I'm staying in Downers Grove. My family's entrenched here. We love Downers Grove. And at the end of the day, this is where we're calling home.
Very good. Any other comments that you?
No, I'm hoping you have more questions.
had prepared for you today.
We're stopped, we can't ask anymore?
Make your photo.
Okay, well, I appreciate this opportunity. Hope I answered your questions. I thought there'd be an opportunity for a little bit more, that's why I was a little more short on my opening statement, because I really value the questions, because, you know, we are a great community. And we're gonna be a great community tomorrow, because we all have the passion and we have the drive to continue to make it that community that so many people wanna call home. If there's any additional questions or anything you have, you know how to get a hold of me. You can always visit my website. I'll give you my commercial, www.Durkin4, F-O-R, downersgrove.com. You can call me, you can stop by. I'm here for you, and I look forward to receiving your endorsement. I appreciate the opportunity to talk before you, and more importantly, I hope I can garner your vote on April 7th so I can continue on for the next 4 years. Thank you.
Yeah.